Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk is going to reinstate Donald Trump onto Twitter. Donald Trump wants to be on Twitter. You might say, well, that's not true. He has Truth Social, and he said he wasn't going back on. The Guardian, Elon Musk plans to cut 75% of Twitter staff. Insider, Elon Musk told investors he will cut 75% of jobs at Twitter. Associated Press, Elon Musk plans to cut 75% of Twitter workforce. The social media algorithms that run Twitter that side with Democrats that ban and suspend and silence anyone who disagrees with the Democratic Party narrative on any topic won't be around anymore. It could be any topic under the sun. If you fall outside of the mainstream, your viewpoint is considered harmful. Okay? George Orwell warned us about this. Democrats wanted an actual government agency to decide what is true and what isn't. As Mashed Potato Brains Joe stated, the economy was strong the other day. It was strong as heck. That's what he said as he was eating ice cream. These are the people who think that the Steele dossier was truthful, initially truthful. These are the people who think that Trump was installed by the Kremlin and then complain that Trump doesn't accept certain things. Okay? They're all over the place all the time. Democrats want to save the planet and, address climate, and then Biden releases 180 to 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. They have private servers with top secret intel transferred somehow onto those servers, and then they say, well, Trump mishandled classified data as a former president who could have declassified everything, who did declassify everything, according to his statements. And they can't prove he didn't declassify. Furthermore, the National Archives is a glorified government library. You're not talking about servers where even James Comey stated, and watch the short on this channel, that laws were broken, but no reasonable prosecutor would indict. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. I will have a live stream tonight at probably around 7 p.m. Pacific time. So be here for the live stream at 7 p.m. Pacific. But ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump will eventually be on Twitter, okay? I've been telling you since September of 2021 that we'd have a stock market crash and the economy would tank. Watch the stock market crash playlist, subscribe to the stock market crash channel, and also H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'll be doing a lot more work on those channels. If you want to support my work long term, my Patreon is below in the description section. And if you want to give a super thanks, the super thanks is below. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people. The viewers on this channel are absolutely amazing. I have the most wonderful viewership, and I just thank you for your support, loyalty, and for sharing this segment and being so wonderful. Trump's going to get back onto Twitter. That's an enormous paradigm shift in American politics. The reason is because of the obsession. It wouldn't really matter if the American political system was healthy and normal and not dysfunctional the way it is now. He has Truth Social, but what better way to prop up Truth Social than post initially on Truth Social, or Kanye West's Parler eventually might, let's say he joins there, but post initially on Truth Social, then post the same thing, but perhaps a variation of what he posted on Twitter. Then initially you'll have Democrats and media completely obsessed with, oh my God, he wrote something on Truth Social. It's about to be published again on Twitter. Twitter is going to be completely different. For a second, I was thinking, maybe I should join once Elon Musk cleans house and makes it like a forum where people can actually speak their mind. But I said, nah, I'm not going to. Twitter's a dystopian. It's still a dystopian nightmare. I suggest people don't join, even if Trump or when Trump gets reinstated or rejoins Twitter. Social media the next couple of years is going to be a very, very unhealthy place to be. If you don't want your blood pressure elevated, if you don't want extra stress, don't go. I mean, they say like YouTube is social media. This is really a glorified VHS tape, okay? You are watching this segment because you choose to, because you want to. It's not like Twitter where anyone on the planet could say, oh my God, you're horrible. That type of thing. Or Instagram, or any platform where you're connected with people who have a vendetta or who are angry or just want to argue for no reason. So I'm not going to join Twitter. I think that or any Truth Social or any type of platform, Parler, because I don't want to be stuck in a Tron. Even if you are allowed to say what you want, I don't want to be stuck in this like video game where it's like a digital cyber world where context is completely missing and there are so many angry and negative people. But anyway, for the millions who, and probably certainly less than what Twitter has stated, but for the good number of people on social media, Trump returning is a huge, huge political victory for Trump Republicans. Enormous. It's not very good when he's president. So he lost the narrative and he actually gave Democrats political momentum. He gave Democrats political momentum when he was on Twitter the last year in office, okay? For a number of reasons, okay? When people are unhappy and you're utilizing Twitter to just voice grievances and you're in the Oval Office, not a good thing. Not a good thing for a number of reasons. I enjoy Trump's personality, but sometimes his personality overshadows the good things that he does. So Donald Trump allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. Made the funding permanent. We had a record low black and Latino unemployment. We had a record low in poverty in the United States with a record high in household median income. Every demographic group was doing better under Trump, financially, in terms of the economy, than mashed potato brains Joe. But see, that was overshadowed. When Trump went after NFL athletes, it was a bad thing. He could have voiced his viewpoint regarding the national anthem in a different way. Okay? When he went after LeBron James, it was a bad thing. He could have voiced his viewpoint in a different way, in a somewhat more diplomatic. The reason that he should have voiced his viewpoint in a different way is because it overshadowed from the good things he did, which were a great number of awesome things. Doha Agreement, Abraham Accords, first president to step foot in North Korea. We had a more stable world and planet than we do now. We're not talking about, New York wasn't giving out literature on possible nuclear annihilation. Oh, gee, what to do in case the ICBMs fly? See, they don't care. Like, everything with them is just toned down. They're not apoplectic or hysterical when they're talking about literally the possibility of the end of the planet. They're all over the place all the time. They just want political influence. You saw how AOC reacted to protesters at her recent function. She was just dancing. She didn't say, "Hey, how can I address your grievances, your thoughts?" These are her constituents. She's just dancing. Democrats don't care really about their constituents. They continually lie all the time, but it's the vote blue no matter who mentality. It's like a gigantic cult. If you don't vote Democrat, even like during a recession, inflation at 8 to 9%, a lot more than that for food, rent, energy, people have lost 25% of their retirement income because the market has crashed, okay? Real wages, according to the Dallas Fed, are down 8.5%. People still vote Democrat, but a big part of that is the social media algorithms that actually prevent discussion. What Democrats do and media is they'll say, if you voice any viewpoint that's furthered by Trump, or if Trump is allowed to voice his viewpoint, that's harmful because it's going to cause people to commit crimes. There's no evidence of that. He wasn't indicted for January. He hasn't been indicted yet. They'll probably find something to indict him on just because there's bribery and graft linked to Hunter and Joe and a bunch of people around them. So those are serious felonies where you can actually indict mashed potato brains Joe. If you just read the New York, if you think that's conspiratorial, read the New York Post and look at the 150 suspicious financial transactions from CBS and the actual email stating how can you use your influence on the company's behalf, and Hunter gives 10% of his income to Joe. I mean, they're in those emails. So they're caught red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar, they're caught with their pants down, literally, oftentimes, and media says, "Well, that didn't happen. Joe didn't force out a prosecutor because his son was making millions." It's like, well, now we know those emails. We didn't have those emails when Trump was getting impeached over a phone conversation. Now we have those emails. Democrats can't do anything without their own writing, their own words incriminating them. But it's going to be very important and very good for Trump as somebody trying to regain the Oval Office to have Twitter. It will actually help Truth Social if he does it right, and he thinks that he knows how to. I mean, the last year of his presidency, he lost control of the narrative, but generally he's pretty good on social media, and the reason is because, well, he's good on social media when he's not in the Oval Office. So he was good during the lead up to 2016. He's actually effective on Truth Social, but he should probably refrain from what he should focus on is not giving them political momentum, and he has less of a chance of giving them like electricity, political momentum, enthusiasm as somebody who will have Trump Republicans in the House, Trump Republicans in the Senate, because you're going to have Trump Republicans take over the House and the Senate, but also as somebody trying to regain the Oval Office every single day, pointing out how terrible the economy is. Now, the economy is going to continue to decline. 2023 is going to be worse than 2022, which is what I said in 2021 would be horrible. Things are going to get worse, not better. We're going to see that 3,000 to 6,000 point drop in the Dow. It's going to be terrible, ladies and gentlemen. As I beg for super thanks and super chat during the live stream, I've told everyone on this channel, to my 12-minute crowd, I told everyone on this channel, when for a long time I've said, save your money, make sure that you are out of the market. There's no reason to be, and I've said for a long time, if you are about to retire, and I said this last year, you have no business being in the stock market. But because the retirement accounts will be down far more than 25%, unfortunately. We have a presidency and a political party in the Democratic Party that cares more about a bucket list of things they want to accomplish than actually a great economy. So all of this has to do, like, what does this have to do with Twitter and Trump being reinstated onto Twitter? It's like, well, it has a lot to do with that. Like, they don't want Trump on Twitter because his voice, his grievances, his what he states in terms of doubt and suspicion of Democrats, it's about emotion. It's not about information. They don't really care about the information that Trump gives people. They don't want people to doubt or to dislike or to be suspicious of the Democratic Party or Joe Biden or Clinton or anyone. And Trump is like a master at promoting suspicion of Democrats, okay? If I focus a lot on the Democratic Party, it's like I'm nothing compared to Trump. He will highlight every single one of their failures and possible and almost certain criminal activity. The problem with Democrats is that they don't know the criminal activity on their side. They have no clue, okay? You know as well as I do. You've had friends or family that disowned you because it was immoral to vote for Trump. They're completely ignorant and clueless of the vast amount of corruption on their political side. So then they can get on their soapbox and say, oh, how dare you? The New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC don't talk about this corruption. You're making things up. It's a fantasy. It's conspiratorial. It's like, no, you have to actually be somewhat educated regarding the corruption on your own political side. Now, the critique with Trump, you could say, is, look, sometimes he does alienate or he talks, he says things that bother people. In terms of corruption or criminality, he hasn't been indicted. It's been 7 years of endless investigations. Democrats are like that meme from the Titanic, that older woman who says, it's been 85 years. They're still waiting. The only reason they will indict him, almost certainly, is because Joe and Hunter, like I said, are linked to actual bribery and graft schemes. So they need something. They need to level the playing field somehow. And Democrats go after their direct political rivals all the time. That's why you had Democrats in the Mueller probe, and in Georgia, and in New York, going after Trump. You have all of media obsessed with Trump. I've never seen this. Think about a time when one man fostered so many, thousands of articles just on him and investigations. And they're not investigating anything with Trump. The investigations with Trump are public relations tools. Oh my God, did he commit a crime? They accuse him of everything under the sun. And then when they can't prove something, they go to the next one. So before classified data, mishandling classified data, it was, oh my God, he tried to overturn democracy. And before that, it was his taxes. And before that, it was the Kremlin. And before that, it was campaign finance with Stormy. So they don't have anything on the man. With Joe, the Washington Post won't touch it, other than to say you can't prove it. You can't prove anything. Well, you couldn't prove anything with Trump. You had a Steele dossier that was purchased by Clinton. You still investigated him. The government still investigated him. Then they say, well, Durham probe didn't find anything. The Durham probe relied on government officials who were in on it to say that they were duped. It was never going to happen. Now, I thought at least one conviction, but the agents that worked with the Steele source, for example, said, well, could have the lies, the lies could have influenced our investigation. We don't know. And so they were very crafty and duplicitous and disingenuous on the witness stand. And there was no way to get bureaucrats to actually tell the truth, that they were in on it. You had agents at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and you had operatives in on it at the same time, and they just needed a pretext to investigate Trump. These are Democratic partisans. Okay? You're going to see a huge paradigm shift in a couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. The House and Senate are going to become Republican. Impeachment is around the corner. Endless investigations of Hunter, Joe, and probably the Durham probe will probably be relive or be reincarnated within numerous House committees. Okay, because Durham will have a report, and so they're just going to focus on the report, and they're going to there's going to be the Durham probe report, and there will be investigations from that report. Okay, the difference between investigating Trump and investigating Democrats like Joe and Hunter is that the Democrats actually committed crimes. That's obvious. Even James Comey, watch the short on this channel. James Comey himself states, yeah, laws were broken. It's on the short, 25,000 views. Laws were broken, but no reasonable prosecutor would indict. Well, where are the reasonable prosecutors with Trump? All they want to do is put him behind bars. He presided over a fantastic economy and a foreign policy infinitely better. And then they spin it to, Trump's battle against that one country invaded while Joe was in office, while Democrats had the House and Senate. How do Democrats reconcile the fact that the invasion took place while they were in power, while they were in office? This was supposed to have happened with Trump. But the media melted down. They were more indignant with the Helsinki conference than what's taking place in Europe. And Europe's in a recession. It's global. Want to know why? Because every country that had morally superior, highly educated liberals did the same stupid thing at once. Shutting down the economy did nothing for anyone other than ruin lives. Absolutely ruin lives. And the rationale was so counterproductive, and the rationale was, it was the worst economic sin in modern history. And so then they pumped trillions into economies, and then guess what? Oil and gas prices, which are a huge component of inflation, went up. Now you have the ladies at the View saying, corporations are making record profits. What does that have to do with inflation? It has nothing to do with inflation. Oh, they're overcharging. It's, first of all, you're living in a capitalist society. Nobody says Apple or Microsoft is overcharging for its software, or Apple is overcharging for its phones. Nobody says that. Okay, so a person can charge whatever they want, or a corporation. The problem was you pumped $10 trillion into the economy. So rising costs were then given to the consumer, were passed on to the consumer, and the consumer was able to just withstand the inflation up until recently. you're seeing corporate profits eventually decline. In many cases, they are declining. And not every corporation has received corporate record profits. There's a lot of corporations, especially retail chains, that are suffering. So the ladies at The View, or Democrats who want to blame inflation as a global problem, are obviously wrong. Then one rebuttal is, Republicans preside over more recessions. Like, who cares? What does that have to do? It's always deflection and conflating everything and never accepting. Focus on why Biden went to battle with oil and gas because he wanted to save the planet. Then he released 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves because oil prices were going up. When oil prices go up, diesel prices go up, and then food prices go up in stores because to transport the food and the goods to grocery chains, then the prices go up. I mean, it's just basic. All you need is a basic understanding of the economy to understand that the policies of Democrats caused all of this. You don't shut down economic activity because you're told to by experts, and then pump $10 trillion into the economy, and then go to battle with the oil and gas industry because you want to save the planet, and then flood strategic petroleum reserves into the economy, and then say you still care about climate and the environment, and then blame everyone but yourselves for goods and services going up. And they were taking a victory lap in 2021, if you remember. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is the type of thing, these issues are going to be talked about endlessly by Trump on Twitter. And so if he can just focus on not giving them political momentum, which is a huge, big critique that I've always talked about. If he can focus on not giving them momentum, it's going to be a fantastic thing for Trump when he gets back on Twitter. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. People, be excited. Get passionate. If you're in Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, any swing state, if you vote Democrat, you're voting for recession. That's not hyperbolic. We already see what they're capable of, and they're capable of much worse. So, if you don't like what's taking place, vote Trump Republican in the midterms. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Be here for the live stream tonight at around 7 p.m.